If you're walking around looking like this after breaking up with a narcissist or going through divorce with one, this video is for you. Hey survivors, it's Angie, and today we're going to talk about breaking up and or divorcing a narcissist and how you can get through it, okay? So, let's get started. Okay, so look, let's just start here. I'm not going to be doing your standard breakup advice. That's just not how I roll, okay? So, if you're going through a breakup with a narcissist or a toxic spouse, a divorce, let me say first that I'm very sorry that you're going through this and I know how very painful it can be. Okay, you're probably confused. You feel angry, you feel sad, you feel frustrated, you feel like you don't want to break up, or maybe you're happy it's over. Either way, you're going through some stuff, right? I get it. I've been there, and maybe I can help you get through it with a little more ease than I did. All right. Ooh. Do you feel like you just don't know what hit you? Yeah, you might be dealing with a narcissist or breaking up with one. This video is going to help you to get through that. So let's just start here. I don't do standard breakup advice, like I said, and there's a plenty of it online if you want to look at the standard stuff, but most of it's geared toward helping you get your ex back, let's be honest. But since you've been with a narcissist, you probably don't want that ex back, and even if you do, I promise you really don't. Why do I know that? Because I know that there are people out there in the world who will love you in the way that you deserve to be loved. And since you've wasted your time with a narcissist, you might still be addicted to him or her because we become physically and mentally addicted to them in certain ways. And there's a lot of science behind it. And I've talked about it in other videos, so I won't waste your time today. Okay? Um, but what I will tell you is this, okay? You don't want him back. You know that because you've already recognized that this person is a toxic narcissist. And if you hadn't recognized that, you probably wouldn't be sitting here watching my video. Am I right? Okay. So, what if you want advice on how to move on as quickly and pain-free as possible? I mean, I'm guessing you've probably read a lot of the standard breakup advice stuff and you probably don't really see how a whole lot of it applies to you. Am I right? Well, there's a reason for that. And it's because most narcissists aren't normal. We know this. So breaking up with a narcissist is pretty much a huge chunk of messy, painful, confusing crap. Sounds really gross, right? Well, that's because it is. But anyway, first things first. You have to recognize that you can be alone and unhappy. In fact, in my opinion, it's a lot better to be alone and happy than with someone and miserable. I know this from personal experience. It's true. So there's good news. You don't need to be attached to someone in order to be happy, my friend, despite what some love gurus will tell you. Okay? I wouldn't consider myself a love guru. I would consider myself a realist. So here it goes. All you need is yourself. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And in some cases, you might even need to cleanse your life of the negativity that invades it. Okay? I have a client going through this right now. She just got out of a toxic relationship. And even though part of her is like, did I do the right thing? The other part of her is like, hell yeah, I did the right thing. So she's actually going through a process of cleansing a lot of the negativity out of her life right now. And this includes some of the negative people in her life. And I'm very proud of her for that because even though it is such a difficult situation for her to get through, it is also a situation that makes her feel a lot of pain as she goes through it, but she sticks with it because she knows that even though the pain is temporary, the results are long-standing and beneficial. So we need to talk about this. Why does it hurt so much when you go no contact with a narcissist? So let's talk about that. Well, you already know that the relationship was going nowhere fast, even if it was a really, really long one, because you have been miserable for quite some time, my friend. Am I right? So even if the person dumped you, it doesn't matter. You already know that the relationship was not going to work. And it was not, at least it was not going to work in the way that would be healthy for you. Okay. So part of you knows that it's best to call it quits because if you don't, the cycle will just continue. Or if you're the one who got dumped, same deal. You should know that if this is your first time out with a narcissist being dumped, then you might not realize this, but they'll be back and they'll be hoovering, which is trying to suck you back in as soon as whatever is that is distracting them is less distracting or less interesting to them. So, in either case, knowing the truth about the situation definitely won't take away the pain and loneliness. But when you use this duo method that I have created to recover, you have a working plan to help you get through the pain. Okay. So, just real quick, let me talk about the duo method for you. The steps are very simple. Okay. Discover the problem. That's step one. Understand the problem. That's step two. And step three is overcome the problem. See, it's real basic. It's so easy. Okay. Okay. It's not that easy, but it's not that hard when you look at it in this way. Okay. So if you want to know more about the duo method, go ahead and visit queenbeing.com/duo, DUO, for additional information about that and to kind of see where you fit in the healing process right now so that you know where to begin. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's free. You can check that out absolutely free, and you can implement the steps, everything for free at queenbeing.com. All right. Anyway, the first thing you have to do is discover the problem and acknowledge it. So obviously at this point you've already done that, my friend, because here you are watching this video. Okay. After you've discovered it, you've got to learn how to understand the situation better, and that's where we are right now in this video. So if the person that you were involved with is a narcissist, you might be confused by the constant roller coaster ride that your relationship became, probably a lot more quickly than you even realized, right? But now that you have been discarded, or you have done the discard, you can rest assured that while your narcissist will most likely come back at some point, it's definitely not going to be worth your trouble to try again, my friend. So you have to know narcissists are very unlikely to change. They don't change, okay? And if they ever do change, it doesn't last for long. It's generally only an attempt to get what they want, because the truth is, narcissists, they don't change. They want to manipulate you into coming back to them and being the narcissist's, the source of narcissistic supply that you have been so good at being up to this point. The person who keeps the narcissist's ego lifted and serves as an emotional dumpster. I said it. I said it. But when the narcissist feels a certain amount of narcissistic injury, that's literally how they treat their primary sources of supply, like an emotional dumpster. Think about this. Have you ever been at home and your narcissist came in from work, or you met them somewhere for lunch or whatever, and all of a sudden you did nothing wrong, but you're in trouble and they're picking at every little thing and just doing everything they can to start a big fight? Yeah, that is because of narcissistic injury. Whether it was you who created it or someone outside of you, they will definitely take it out on their closest source of narcissistic supply, because you're one of the very few people who actually know the real narcissist. Feel me? So here are a few strategies that you can use that will help you to move forward in your life and find some peace as you go about healing and recovering from this narcissistic abuse that you've just experienced. All right. Number one, focus on the things and the people in your life and situations that make you feel good and positive. I know I say this all the time, but do it anyway. Things that make you feel good and positive about yourself in your life. This is a big deal. I promise it's a big deal. All right. So think about this. What did you enjoy doing before you and your ex got together? Okay. If your relationship was a long one, well, it might be a little bit hard to remember what it was like before, but you can do it, okay? Even if you were 15 when you guys got together, there was probably something along the way that you dropped for this person that you really love doing. So what is that thing? I want you to really think about this, okay? Number two, focus on making any changes that you can, things that you've been meaning to make, changes that you've been meaning to make in your life. So, like, let's say you're trying to get in better shape, okay? Well, this is the time, my friend. If you've been planning on changing jobs or taking some classes to advance your career, now's the time. You feel me? Okay, join a support group like SPAN, all right? You can do that at queenbeing.com/SPAN. It's free. It's run and owned by me, and I have an amazing team of admins who really get in there and dig in, and they're just really protective and supportive of our group, and I'm very, very blessed that they're there, and so is everyone in the group. So if you haven't yet, join SPAN. Anyway, because the thing is, you need to connect with people who understand what you're going through. We spend so much time as supply being misunderstood, even when we're amazing communicators. Listen, you guys, I can literally teach almost anyone anything, okay, because I'm really good at communicating. And I'm not bragging when I say that, I'm just being real. Sometimes I stumble over my words for sure, but I'm good at putting things into language that people can understand. And yet, for some reason, with my narcissists, multiple in my lifetime, there was like this brick wall situation where I couldn't really speak to them. And I spent a lot of years being completely invalidated and wasting myself and my talents because of this treatment. Okay. So often, because narcissists cause a very specific type of pain and psychological injury to their victims that a lot of people don't get, it's exhausting for victims and no one understands. And so often the only people who really do get it are those victims and survivors who have also experienced it. That is why joining SPAN or a support group like it is such a good idea for you when you're going through recovery. Okay. These kinds of steps and actions and activities are going to allow you to feel more hopeful and positive about your future. Okay. And these are going to allow you some peace in the short term, but also might help you move on more quickly in the long run. You feel me? So just try it. Okay, here's another thing you need to remember. Okay, don't be afraid to use any and all escape mechanisms that you have that can make you feel better. Okay, whether you're eating ice cream or vegging out in front of the TV, I don't really care as long as you're not killing yourself. Okay, as long as you only focus on positive people and activities that you will be able, you're going to be able to much better cope with the pain and loneliness. Okay, listen, here's the deal. Okay, you have to do this thing I call intentional thought management. Okay, this is where you start from the beginning and starting right now. Next time you think a negative thought, the first thing you do is you go, nope, I'm going to cancel that thought and I'm going to replace it with this affirmation of my desire. Okay, so right now, if I'm thinking, haha, I'm so fat, I'm not thinking that because that's negative. But if I was thinking that, then, I would go, nope, I'm not canceling that thought because I'm not that. I don't want to be that, so I don't want to attract more of that into my life, right? So instead, I'm going to think, I'm so grateful that my body is healthy and happy and whole or whatever, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you change it with. I could even decide I'm so grateful for the sunlight coming in my window right now so I don't have to light this video. Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is, intentional thought management is about noticing the thoughts that aren't working for you and clearing them out of your head and replacing them with thoughts that do work. Okay, think thoughts and energy that actually goes toward what you want in your life and not what you don't want. You don't want more reasons to be miserable. You don't want more reasons to feel lonely and rejected and all of these things, right? The best thing you can do is focus on feeling good about your life in the moment. So just like I tell everybody, think of 10 things you're grateful for and think of 3 things you love about yourself every day. And any time that you feel so negative that you can't clear that thought, just go, okay, I'm going to take 5 deep breaths, 5 of them, and then, bam, 10 things you're grateful for, 3 things you love about yourself. Try it. I'm telling you, it works. In fact, I just talked to a client today who said it works quite well for her. So think about it. All right. All right. So just another tip from me to you. Limit the amount of time you let yourself grieve. And I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it one more time. Okay. You don't want to grieve forever for a narcissist. Why? Or anybody for that matter. Because the fact is that the longer you grieve for that person, the more you focus on how much you miss that person and all the things that that person isn't giving you anymore, well, the longer that person controls you. Don't let that narcissist control you any longer, my friend. Okay? So for a long term, hear the sirens. For a long term marriage type relationship, okay, I would not let yourself go for more than a few weeks. Don't let yourself go for more than a few weeks to mourn. And for shorter relationships, cap it out at a week. Tell yourself that you can mourn and mope and as long as you want to, if you need to, but tell yourself, try this, okay? Tell yourself, okay, I have X number of days to mourn about this relationship from here on out, okay? I don't care if you've been separated for 6 years already. Today's the day you're going to set the end date on this mourning, okay? So for the next however many days you choose, you can mourn, you can be sad, you can mope and cry and throw things and draw sad pictures and write sad poems. Go ahead, it's all right. Do what you got to do, girl or guy. You know what I'm saying? But on the target date, whatever day you pick, that's it. Cut it off, my friend. You don't have to whine about the past anymore, and you got to move forward with a more positive and focused attitude, all right? Believe it or not, this really works. It really, really does. Please just give it a shot, I promise you, okay? So, where do you go from here? Well, you got to be yourself, all right? So, remember, be your authentic self. Authenticity is way underrated. It is way more about being honest with the world. It's more than being honest with the world, it's about being honest with yourself and being okay with who you are. Okay, that is a process, my friend. It is a process and it is worth the trouble. It took me a long time to get here, but somehow I've managed to become that girl that sings at stoplights and doesn't care what anybody thinks. And I know that sounds dumb. Who cares about singing at stoplights, right? I do, because there was a time in my life when I pulled up to a stoplight, if anybody was near me or looking at me, I would be like, turn the music way down and be real quiet. Not anymore. And I know that's a small thing, but the point is that when you become confident enough in yourself to not care what anybody thinks, especially people you don't know and will probably never see again, you can't lose. Being able to be authentically yourself is freeing. It makes you feel open. It makes you feel secure and confident. You have to love yourself. You have to be grateful for the things in your life. And you have to intentionally focus on what is working for you and not things you can't control. The best revenge is to just let your light shine into the world. Let the world get your sparkle. Let your sparkle happen. It's all very good for you and it can't hurt anything at all. All right? Be happy. That's what you deserve to be. You feel me? Okay? So when you feel those negative thoughts creeping in, blow them right out of your head and think of something more positive. Okay? Snap out of it. I promise it helps. Okay? Stick with me. I've got a new program coming up. I've been talking about it for the last couple days, and I think maybe tonight or tomorrow I'll be announcing it and we'll dig right in. Okay? All of you are welcome to join me for free in this new program. It's very exciting, and it's something you can do from the comfort of your own home, and we're all going to do it together. It's very, very cool. So please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that, and you'll be notified when I pop that video up. And visit queenbeing.com for more information about narcissism and narcissistic abuse recovery. Lots of freebies there, by the way, all freebies pretty much. Visit narcissismsupportcoach.com to pick up my free 5-day email course, which is designed especially for narcissistic abuse survivors like us and will help you get through stuff. Also, if you hit queenbeing.com, there's a package there called Perk, Post Emergency Gaslighting and Recovery Kit. I had to come anyway. It's kind of like first aid for your aching soul when you've been through a situation like this. So check that out. And in general, thank you for being there. Thank you for being a part of my life. And thank you for letting me be a part of yours. I'm so lucky and blessed to do what I love to do for a living and to be able to help people in the process. I'm grateful for it every single day. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. If you need to get a one-on-one appointment for coaching, I'm happy to help you. Visit narcissisticabuserecovery.online and schedule that at your convenience. And if you'd rather talk to a person than an automated system to schedule, you can speak with my assistant, Haley. You can email her at haleyhelpforyou@gmail.com. That's haleyhelpforyou@gmail.com. All right? I'm closing up for today. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for being part of my tribe.